This mod is still a work in progress, though, what I am playing now. You can play for yourself, even though it is incomplete, and I think of you guys first, so I put all these links in the descriptions. They're very handy links. There's going to be links to the download for this mod, the download for the texture pack that I'm using, as well as a link to the recipes, of course. Actually, the download and the recipes link are kind of going to be one and the same, but my point is, I think of you guys, and I want to make this as convenient as possible, so let's go ahead and jump into the mod and see what this is all about. I've set up a little work area over here so we can dive right into all the items and things that have been added in Galacticraft. But we're going to be making a spaceship, and that is how we are going to make it to the great beyond. And to do so, we're going to be using a slew of new items. Now, I'm going to open this chest. Don't close your eyes. Do not be alarmed. There's a lot of things in here. All these things have their own unique recipes, but I'm going to go ahead and skip recipes for now, and I might cover them later in this video. I want to get to the good stuff first. Get your blood pumping, because we're going to be exploring the moon. Now, to do this, we're going to need... Why don't we just go ahead and use the armor? We've got a brand new set of armor, titanium, and we're going to obviously make that with the new ore. There are 3 new types of ore. You can see the ingots that they make here: titanium, aluminium, and copper. And I'm going to go ahead and place these up for you right here so that you can see all of them. These are going to be found in Minecraft Overworld, so you're just going to be able to dig around and find these ores for yourself in the ground, and these are going to be your primary crafting components when making all of these little materials that you're going to be using both to craft the spaceship, as well as, of course, the titanium armor. We've also got different tools that we're going to be using with titanium, and, of course, the spaceship. Now, I'm going to go ahead and place the spaceship in my inventory, and you can already see it's not to scale. This is not how big the spaceship actually is. It is going to be a little bit bigger. But let's go ahead and equip the armor that I just pulled out of the chest, and take the components that I need in order to craft a spaceship. Even though I've already got one, I do want to show you the basics of how to craft it. This is not going to be inclusive of the recipes. All-inclusive, I should say. There's another vehicle called a buggy. We'll take a look at that later. We're going to need this parachute. We're going to need a flag to plant to claim our stake on the moon. And then we're going to need a rocket crafting table. Now, the rocket crafting table I've already placed here. That's what this weird object is. And on that crafting table, we will be able to craft our spaceship. Without the rocket crafting table, you cannot make a spaceship. So, very important tool. And we've already got the launch pad set up, so we'll come back to that later. Get the engine, and that should be all of the parts that we need. So when we activate this workbench, it's going to have a completely different layout. But what's nice is once you have all these pieces put together, it does kind of show you where to place them. Obviously, the hard part is going to come in to actually crafting the components in the first place. Once you get past that hurdle, it's pretty easy to put them all their ducks in a row. Then we get our spaceship. We're just going to go ahead and keep that in our inventory for safekeeping, because we will need multiple spaceships. Now at this point, we're going to go ahead and place our spaceship on the launch pad and start getting it ready for takeoff. Look at this bad boy. Already starting to juice up a little bit, getting some smoke coming out from below the spaceship. Looks pretty cool with all the particle effects, I gotta say. But we're not quite ready to go into outer space yet. We do need some extra gear, and that's because we cannot breathe in outer space. So in order to breathe, we're going to be using oxygen gear, and we're going to be using some oxygen tanks, as well as an oxygen mask in order to keep all of that oxygen in. Sensor glasses are going to be used here in just a moment. In fact, I think I could actually test them out and show them to you right now. But I want to get all of this in order first. Okay, so what are these sensor glasses used for? They're going to take up your headshot inventory, and they look kind of weird on your face right now. They're just kind of gray. They need a little bit of texture work, but that's fine. But when you take off the inventory menu, you've got kind of a Cyclops eyesight going on here, just like a one-eye goggle thing. What is this good for? Well, what's interesting about this is if you get within 3 blocks of ore, it will actually light up on your heads-up display. So you can see as I move around these blocks of ore, it will light up on my HUD here. So what this is going to do is show you where ore is if it's within 3 blocks of you. So if you're going through a tunnel and you see some ore, you can see it pop up and like, wait a second, maybe I should dig around here a little bit more and try to find it. So that is going to be something that's pretty cool and help you mine. So the last thing I need to do is open up a different inventory spot, and that's going to be by hitting the letter R. Hitting R is going to bring up a different set of equipment slots that you're going to be able to use to put your oxygen gear in, to put your oxygen mask on. You can see that taking the form there. And we're also going to want to put some oxygen tanks in here. So now we should be pretty much good to go. There are a couple other things I want to try out while we're on the moon, and I'll explain those when we actually get there. Last thing, pretty important, rocket fuel bucket. You know, we got to have fuel in order to actually take off. But now that we're ready, to go towards the sun. Actually, the moon is not out yet because it is not nighttime. We're going to hop in by hitting the right mouse button. You can see some keyed commands there on the left. We're going to be able to turn left and right, up and down, and launch. But before I launch, let's go ahead and put some fuel in here, and we are ready to go. You guys ready? We're about to lift off. Let me get into third-person mode here before we lift off. Hitting the spacebar will start the process of igniting the rocket and taking us up to outer space. It does have a little bit of a countdown. When it starts making a different sound effect right now, there should be 10 seconds until we take off. And hopefully all goes well. I believe there might be a chance that we have, you know, some kind of disaster, some chance that we crash. Uh-oh, there goes the launch pad. It just got evaporated by all of the rocket's energy that is just blasting out from underneath it. You can see that awesome effect down below as the fire kind of turns to smoke as we blast off. And when we hit the ceiling on Minecraftia, we'll be taken to a nice little menu that's going to allow us to select our destination. So from here we can go back to the overworld, or we can go to the moon. Don't close your game here, okay? If you get to this screen, do not X out of your game because it will corrupt your save. That's what happened to me, and I just don't do it. Okay, one other thing I do want to point out, we do have a world map here, which you can activate at any time by hitting M while you're not on this menu, and we can actually zoom out here, move around with WASD, and we can see the Earth orbiting around the Sun, and actually the Moon around that as well. We can even select them and see what they are, and when more planets are added to this build, you'll be able to see them orbiting as well. In this particular build, I only have access to the Moon, however, so that's all you're going to be able to see here. So we're going to go back, and then we're going to go straight to the moon. I do have one interjection before we go to the moon. Do not click this button in this current build of the game, because when you go to the world map, or the galaxy map I should say, and come back, you don't have a mouse, and then you have to close, which I had to do, and then I just lost my world save before. But that's okay, as it is a work in progress. So from this point on, so we're going to go to the moon, which has 18% gravity, no oxygen, and it is habitable. And let's go ahead and send ourselves to that dimension from which we should now parachute down. And look, we're floating downwards, and you can see there's the Earth above us, and the sun, and what appears to be a parachuting chest. You can see the moon forming below us. Hopefully we don't break our legs or anything like that. And we've now landed on the moon, guys. Isn't this exciting? Whoa, look at that moon jump. The 18% gravity, it looks to be correct. We've also got footprints being left in the moon dust. And the chest is slowly coming down. I'm not sure if there's going to be anything in this. We'll check it out, though, just in case. But there's a couple of other things I do want to take a look at to make sure that we're not dying. We want to make sure that our oxygen is actually working. We can see that there is air remaining, 265, 264 in each of these. So you can't live forever, right? But what's nice about this chest is it will allow you to get back. This is why I kept the other spaceship before. I didn't know that this was going to contain a spaceship, launch pad, and fuel bucket. So what this is going to let you do, you'll notice there's no way to get back right now. So if you just use this chest, take the materials out of this, and then of course place these back on the ground, then you're going to be able to get back home. So that is how you're going to get off of the moon when you're done. So let's just go ahead and make this here and put the rocket down just in case, to make sure that I don't get lost. That would be terrible, so we'll just leave that there. Now, as I said before, I am slowly running out of oxygen. Let's open up this menu and see. 260 left. They're running out a little bit faster than I would like. You know, it seems like it's going slow enough, but really, what happens if you get lost and you suffocate and die on the moon? That would be terrible. So let's test something else out, shall we? And we're going to do this over here at our little moon base that we have kind of created without our really intending to, but that's what it is. We have a couple items here called Oxygen Distributor and Oxygen Collector, and I want to test these out. Now, I believe that in order to use these, I did have the appropriate materials in my other inventory, so I might have to cheat these in, but when you place this down, I think this is going to start trying to collect oxygen from nearby trees, and obviously there are no trees, so that's what I'm going to attempt to create here. But you're going to put an oxygen pipe on either side of this, and then attach it to an oxygen distributor. Now what this is going to do is attempt to create a bubble around you that's going to make it safe to breathe without your, whatever this thing is called that I'm wearing right now, the oxygen mask, and of course the oxygen gear and the tank and stuff like that. So in order to do this, I'm going to have to sprout some trees up really quickly. So I did a little bit of experimentation, a little bit of reading on the forums to figure out how to make these two items work, to get some oxygen on the moon, and I believe it is triggered with leaves. So I've kind of got some oak leaves here, and I'm going to attempt to see if we can make this work. Now, as I said before, it is going to pull oxygen in, and then it's going to fan it out. You can see even just placing one block of leaves, it's making it start to turn. So let's place a couple more and see if this works any better. Then, maybe we'll start... Uh-oh. 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 I think it's nighttime on the moon now. And when it's nighttime on the moon, it appears that we have space creepers and space zombies that can also jump. That is absolutely terrifying. So, oh, look at this. The more leaves we put in, I think I can actually breathe inside of this bubble. So if you want to go and live on the moon, you're going to have to shear yourselves some leaves, because at the moment it seems as though I cannot make... I attempted to make some trees grow with bone meal, and planting the saplings and creating them with bone meal did not work. So I think this is going to be the primary method of survival at the moment, is just shearing some leaves to make your base. And that's what you're going to have to do in order to make this bubble even bigger. Make yourself just like a big wall out of leaves. Let's see how big this bubble can actually get. We're seeing it drawing the line, like right here between these two, so let's see how much bigger this bubble gets. Oh! Oh! We've got company, guys. We've got company. It's time to use the titanium sword and put it to use. Oh my goodness, just hitting him makes him fly back with low gravity. That is incredible. You can't get me when I'm way up here, creeper. Or you're going to explode in midair. Those are terrifying. Terrifying flying creepers and skeletons and things like that. I might have to turn it on creative mode in order to make this work. But you can already see that this seems to be functioning appropriately. The fans and turbines are spinning quite fast now. But obviously this is... Well, that is so cool. There's so much attention to detail in this mod. On the moon, these arrows fly in almost slow motion. I love how they all have little oxygen tanks, though. You can, like, juggle them through the air. Okay, we should be left alone right now. But I still want to just point out how much thought has gone into this mod. You can actually survive on the moon. You get the rocket ship to go back to the overworld if you want. The one thing I do want to show you is, of course, first I have to claim my little stake in the land here by holding right mouse button and claiming the moon for Italics. Captain Italics on the moon. There we go, my orange flag. You can make these in a variety of different colors. It's up to you how you want to customize them, but that's how you're going to lay your stake. And then when you want to go exploring, of course you're going to want a buggy. Now, whoops, I just placed two buggies. I forgot I'm in creative mode by accident. But now we've got a little garage here with some buggies. We're going to right-click to get on. And this little bad boy is actually going to have spinning wheels. And we're going to be able to cruise around, go up, small inclines. You can see the wheels turning as I attempt to turn. That was probably a bit too big of a drop here. But this is how you're going to be able to traverse the landscape most efficiently. And it seems like it doesn't quite want to turn. We're in low gravity and it's having a little bit of difficulty, but I love all the animations here. You can see the solar panel here that's collecting the energy to make this thing run. It's rotating, the wheels are turning. Let's go into third-person mode and see what this bad boy looks like. So what are you going to be able to find on the moon? Well, here in just a second, I'm going to dig down and see if there's any other types of rocks or ore or anything like that. We have some craters here, and there should also be some little asteroids or meteors or something falling from the sky every so often and kind of careening into the ground here, making small little craters and explosions. I've seen these before on the forum thread. But the landscape looks really cool. I like the biome generation. It does look like the moon. I love the touches such as the Earth in the distance and the sky. And there's going to be a ton more planets, guys. I want to emphasize that. It's not just the moon. It's just the moon for now in this current build of the game. However, there's going to be like at least 5 to 10 different planets that you're going to be able to explore. They're all going to be completely different biomes, and they're going to have different mobs and different dungeons. There's going to be all sorts of different challenges. And those guys totally just cheated and spawned in right next to me. Ooh, what is this? Did we have a moon village spawn? I'm not sure if villages have been disabled on this biome. Well, this is going to be interesting. Guys, I just found life in outer space. Okay, think about the gravity of this discovery here. I have just found life in outer space. The villagers, let's get out of this thing. Uh-oh, we seem to have lost the lander. The lunar lander has been lost. Alright, let's walk up here and see if these are space people. What kind of people are these? We might have to take out one of these space zombies to save these villagers. Hello, sir. How can I help you today? No, he doesn't. He can just breathe it out of space. These are legitimate aliens. These are legitimate aliens. And they're actually figured out how to grow wheat with no oxygen. That's very impressive. I am just in awe right now, guys. We made this discovery together, you and I. Look at these guys. They've clearly psychically linked. They turned to face me at exactly the same time. I could hear messages in my head. Well, guys, I did say that I would try mining, excavating the ground a little bit to see what I could find underneath the moon. And I've done a little bit of mining down here. As I float lazily down my mining shaft here, I did come upon something quite yellow indeed. So let's mine this and see what it is. Does seem to be a nice little ore vein here of cheese curds. Cheese on the moon. Some little hidden secret, I suppose. Down in this tunnel, it should be pretty obvious the difference in the torches. Look how little light that gives off. I mean, seriously, there's like nothing there. But when I place glowstone, it just kind of lights the place up because glowstone does not need the oxygen of the fire to go. And that's just a cool little touch, I thought. And that's going to cap off just the exploration of the moon. Just seeing the different things. There's probably some more hidden secrets that I'm not even sure of. Another thing that I said I would do earlier is check out the sensor goggles again, which I have. And now that I am wearing them, you can actually see that the mobs on the moon are highlighted for you. So you can see them at a distance. They become a lot more clear. And it becomes a little bit easier to find out what kind of path you might need to take in order to navigate in between them. But there are still a ton of mobs here. So good luck surviving on the moon. That's all I can say. But anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this mod spotlight. I found my lunar rover over here. Probably never ever be able to find my way back to camp. And my oxygen is getting close to halfway down. I have a galactic level. Not sure what this bar is going to be used for, but we will see in the future. If you enjoyed this mod spotlight and you would like to see more like it, you can let me know by leaving me a like and a comment on this video. I would appreciate it very much. Thank you, guys.